This is video C4. We are working with the fundamental counting principles, and we're now going to start talking about restrictions. So we started with just plain fundamental counting principles, and then we looked at independent and dependent decisions, whether the decision that you make changes your options for the other ones. And a lot of that was just, can you repeat numbers or not? There's another thing to watch for, let's put it that way, besides repetition, and that is whether there are restrictions. Okay, and I really couldn't find a great definition, but a restriction to me is extra details or conditions that are in the question. Okay, so let's take a look at these. All right. In how many ways can three-letter arrangements be made for the letters P-R-I-M-E? Letters can be used more than once. Okay, so we know it's 3 letters. So first, second, third. And if you're going, I don't want to write that underneath, well, you know, for this question, it's not vital. But it's not like it's t-shirts and bananas and chickens that you're, you know, things that are really weird. This is for second, third. Okay, it says letters can be used more than once. So if I want to put something in my first blank, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 choices. All right. Now it says I can use more than once. So I'm going to put R for repeat. Repetition is allowed. You want to get technical, that makes it, I have to think, dependent. No, independent. Sorry, I just started using those phrases. But what I need to know is that if I use P the first time, you know what? I can use it again. Like I have an unlimited number of P's, R's, I's, M's. So 5 and 5. No, I haven't been doing that, but I'm going to put the dots in because that means I'm going to multiply. And I get 125 different choices we can have. So that can be P, 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 R, I, E, whatever. It doesn't matter. I don't need to write them all out, but that's what I'm saying. So repetition is cool. Now, the letters cannot be used more than once. All right. Have to be careful. 1, 2, 3. I'm not going to keep writing for a second here because it's the same question, sort of. So my first choice is 5 because I can use any. Now it says cannot use more than once. So where am I going with that? If I use the P, it's done. That's going to leave me 4. Now let's say I use the M. That's going to leave me 3. So when you can't have repetition, normally your numbers are going to count down. Okay, so 5 times 4 is 20, times 3 is 60. And that makes sense. Right? We're going to have less choices here because, for example, something like PEP, you can't use that anymore because you've repeated. At least one letter must be repeated. Excuse me. Now, I put a star there because there's a trick. This is kind of a trick question. And there's kind of 2 ways to do it. You could do it as cases and have like 1 letter repeats, or you have 2 of the same letter, or you could have 3 of the same letter. And it says at least 1, but here's the trick. And this is where your, let me see. This is where set theory comes into use. So we have all possible combinations, arrangements. And the letters can be used more than once. They can, they don't have to be. So our grand total is 125. So there's like 125 options. Okay. So that's that answer. Now, this one is the letters cannot be used more than once. So there is a subset in here. And I'm just going to say not, how about we used? There's 60 times that happens. So I want to know, I'm going to move the 125. I should have made that page bigger, I'm sorry. The 125 out there. So if there's 125 altogether, and there's 60 times where there is no repetition, all I would need to do is and that should give me 5 times. And that is way easier than trying to make it work. As a number of cases, because right now, hold on, I'm going to pause the video and see if I can figure it out. Okay, I'm back. I had to figure this out myself in case I get all stressed if I'm trying to do this in front of you. So I just turned it off. So here's my theory. Okay, so the question says at least one letter must be repeated. So if we repeat one letter, that would be like P, E, and E, for example. Now, because we're talking about arrangements, and if you're hearing a bizarre growling in the background, that would be my jelly bean deciding that the plastic bag that's blowing across the street is evil and is going to attack us. Anyway, back to the question. So when I looked at it, I thought, okay, well, there's 5 different choices for a first letter. Put in whatever you want, and then I'm going to make the next one match. So there's only one choice. If this is a P, this has to be a P. If this is an R, this has to be an R. So there's only one choice there. So, and we were only supposed to make one letter match. So then I had 4 choices at the end. And if we multiply that through, that's 20. But okay, well, what if we want to match the first number and the last number? Same process. Pick anything you want here. So let's say it's E. Pick something else there. E. And then this one has to match my first one. So it would look like that. Again, multiply through 20. So I thought, well, if I'm matching the first two, and the first one and the last one, then I need to do the third option, which is matching the second and the third one. So this would be I, M, M. Okay. But because it's a restriction, I thought, well, I'm going to put this guy in first. So pick whatever that letter is. And then I'm going to make that one the same. So that's why it's a 1. And then I'm going to fill this one in last. So if it can't be the same, that's 4. So that gives me 60 so far. And then I thought 3 letters the same. Or 2 repeats, however you want to say it. And I didn't draw my lines there. I thought, well, pick whatever letter you want for the first one. Let's say it's an R. And then if all letters are going to be the same, then that has to be an R, and that has to be an R. So if you take that, that is the 65 that we got by drawing a picture. I trust my picture way more than I trust this, because I was not 100% sure that I was going to be able to capture all the cases and make sure this was going to work. So this is doing it by cases, and the reason it looked weird because we were adding. I don't know if I've talked about a case like this before. These are called mutually exclusive. So I can't have the first and second letter be the same, and the first and the third one be the same. Be the same at the same time. Be identical at the same time. I'll say that better. So when this and this and this can't happen all at the same time, you add them. And this is also a different option. So you can have 2 letters the same and 3 letters the same at the same time. And I think I'm going to go back and I'm going to say, and this is why using this. And essentially, if you remember, it's just you're finding the complement. We have 125 options in total. These are the ones where there are no repeats. So the rest of them in the box have to have some repeats. So watch for that. Letters cannot be used more than once. The complement, another way of saying this is, I guess, letters can be used more than once. I'm not sure I've clarified that, but anyway, I'm going to carry on. Let's do these other ones. They're a little bit easier. So 1, still taking 3 letters, right? It must start with a vowel. So from our letter, I'm going to write over here because I made a mess there. So I've got an I and E. Those are my vowels. So there's 2 choices there. And it doesn't matter which one I picked. It also says no repetition. So let's say I use the E. That's going to leave me 1, 2, 3, 4 letters left. And then I used up something else. I don't know, the P, and it's going to leave me 3. But this was my restriction. So I had to put that number in first. So 2 times 4 is 8 times 3 is 24. All right, it must end in a consonant. So 1, 2, 3. Oh, I should put a B there and a consonant there. Right, always try and mark your restrictions. So for our consonants, there's 1, 2, 3. So 3 goes in there first. Now, even though there's a 3 there, this is the part you got to wrap your head around. That doesn't mean we've used up 3 numbers. That means there are 3 letters. It just means we picked 1 of 3. So if 1 is gone, we had 5 to start with. That means there's going to be 4 left, and there's no repetition. So I can have another 4. Whoops. It's going to count down. So for example, if I used, I'll write the word prime here. Okay, so we're going to end with our consonant. So let's take out the P. That leaves me 1, 2, 3, 4 letters left. Right? I can't repeat. So that's so there's your 3. There's 4 left. That's where that comes from. Let's take the E out. And I just randomly picked one of them. And now you have 1, 2, 3 left. And there we go. Okay. So it's close reading practice. And you really got to make sure you check your answers. I can't emphasize that enough. Make sure you check your answers in the back, because it's real easy to make mistakes and not know what it is. It's not like finance where, you know, if the monthly payment on a car is $15,000 or $6 million, you know right away that, you know, that can't be right. But here it's harder to tell. And hey, I get it. So make sure you check your answers. And if they don't match, figure out why. If you can't figure it out from watching a video or something like that, just come talk to me. All right, so 4 times 3 times 3 is 36. All right, last one. It must start and end with vowels. And again, no repetition. So we need a vowel here, vowel there. If I go back to prime, I've highlighted my vowels. There's 2, so watch this. Okay. That's not very exciting. What I'm going to do, I like that too, is I'm going to do this one next. Whatever restrictions you have, you fill those in first and then do whatever's left over. So this has to be about 2. So if I use one of them, there's only one left. So I put the I here, the E has to go there, if I put the E there, there's only one choice. How many letters have I used up? There was 5 altogether. I've used 2, so that should leave me 3. It's going to give me 6 choices. Okay, let's take a look at the next question. You know what? I think you should turn off the video and give it a shot yourself. All right, a student must schedule their classes for next semester by choosing one of each of the following categories. So 1, 2, 3, 4. It also says there's 4 courses, so 4 blanks. So for my first one, it looks like some kind of art class. So there's 1, 2, 3. And put art. You can take art 110, 130, or 170. I don't even know what those classes are. Next one, it looks like it's a math class. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 different ones you can take. Yancy, economics maybe? No, you didn't spell it. I don't know what that is. I stole this from somewhere. But anyway, it doesn't matter. 1, 2, 3 classes. And the last one looks like some Indigenous Studies course. There's 1, 2. Okay. What do we do? You know this, you multiply through. That should be 72. So there's 72 different semesters she can based on the classes she gets. Yeah. What if she won't take art 130? Must take math 170. Now, careful. That fewer than, greater than, less than or equal to, all of those to me are like beep, 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 crazy words. Be careful. So it's not asking you how many different courses you can take. It's how many fewer different semesters are available. So this is a 2-part question. First of all, we have to figure out again how many options she has. Art, math, ENC, and Indigenous. All right, she won't take art 130. So I'm just going to cross it off. So that's going to leave us with 2 choices there. Now she must take math 170. So how many choices is that? Yeah, it's 1. Now there's nothing about these other guys. So there's 1, 2, 3. And there's 2. So 2 times 1 is 2. Times 3 is 6. So that's going to give you 12. Now, if you do that, I will give you probably, let's say this question's out of 6 marks. I'd probably give you 5. I might give you 4 depending on the day, right? But you're not going to get full marks because you didn't answer the questions. I want to know how many fewer semesters. So 72 without the restrictions minus these 12 that she's now limited to. And that's going to be 60 less choices by having to take that 1 math course and I'm not wanting to take that one art course. All right. You know what? I think you should pause the video again. Postal code questions. Postal code questions and license questions are really common with fundamental accounting principles. So please pause the video and give it a shot yourself. And we'll come and turn me back on. See how it goes. All right. How many postal codes are possible? If you can repeat letters or numbers, you cannot use 0, the letter O, the number 1, or the letter, I assume that's an I. And I give you some examples there. So always look at the examples. I could have said that our letter, letter, digit, letter, number, letter. I know there's 6 parts. Let's just do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? And the first one has to be the letter. Digit. Digit is the word I was looking for. So it's letter, digit, letter. And then digit and letter and digit. So for this one, it's really important to like label stuff. Okay. So now I can do repeats. So I can do like 26, 26, 26. But it also says I cannot use zeros, the letter O, the letter I. So I'm going to worry about my letters first. So how many letters in the alphabet? Yes, I do expect you yelling at the, or quietly, or at least in your head, saying the answer is 26, but I can't use an O and I can't use an I. So that means 24, and I can repeat. So you know it's going to be 24 there and 24 there. I just like doing all the letters at once. Done. All right. Now, what about our digits? Oh, I said numbers there. Oh, well. I can't use 0. And I can't use the number 1. So normally when you talk about digits, you can have all of them. There are 10, right? But we can't use the 0. We can't use a 1. So that leaves us 8. So 8, 8. And then we multiply that through. And that's going to be a big number, and that's okay. Oh, no. 7077. Okay, there we go. You know what? I'm going to add a question. What if they said no repeats? Should there be more or less, or the same amount? Should be less, right? Because we don't get to repeat anything. So if there's no repetition allowed, excuse me, the numbers are usually in the lower. And relabel. All right, so now 26 letters in the alphabet. And we can't use the O or I, which leaves us with 24. But here's where it changes. If I can't repeat, then once I've used a letter, it's gone. And then this would be 23. And then gone. And this would be where is it? 2. Okay. Now I want you to fill in the other numbers. There'd be 8 to start with, but then I use 1 and gone. 7 and gone. 6. So let's multiply that through. 24 times 8, 23 4 million now. 4, 0, 0, 3, 4. And there we go. All right. So that's the end of the first question on restrictions. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you have a lovely day.